fucking back, folks, for another week of the, I guess, college football picks this week. All right. You know, I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' time. Not going to fucking try to jerk you off. We're just going to get right into it, okay? Last week, could have done a little better than I had intended. I said I wanted to do better than what most odds are. Now, what I'm just finding out is the best bettors, that obviously 55% is like the best better of all time, apparently, from what I hear. And that's like better than that, and you're fucking nailing it, all right? College football didn't quite do that this week, you know? I've done much better in the past, but I still was over 500 this week, and that's really what you're looking for. As long as you're over 500, you're winning, and that's what you want. This week, or last week I should say, I went 8-7 in college football. Would like to do better. As you know, the season is winding down, though. We're down to the conference championship games this week, and then it's just bowl games from here on out, so it'll kind of single off and back until next year. But I'm going to get us right straight into it so you guys can get ready for this coming week, get your picks in, and see what you fucking like about it, okay? We're going to go through all 10 championship games, starting off with the least important one, Conference USA, because I don't even know what fucking teams are in it, to be honest. We have UAB versus Florida Atlantic. To be quite honest, I'm pretty sure UAB is the team that only a few years ago wasn't a school. I mean, they were, but they didn't have football. They didn't have the football program. It just most recently was brought back into play. I have to say that UAB, an amazing story. I'm pretty sure that's what the guy where J.J. Nelson came from Arizona. But I digress. Basically, they're playing Florida Atlantic. It's a game that nobody's going to really give a shit about compared to all the other games that are going on in the conference championship games. Florida Atlantic is the looking at their schedules, looking at the straight ups, how they've done, how they fared against the spread and whatnot. Florida Atlantic is the better team. If you look at all the statistics, I know I told you I wasn't going to bore you with statistics or anything like that on this show, but when I looked at it and it's just a clear mismatch in how they play and whatnot. It is technically a home game for Florida Atlantic. They're going to be playing each other in area. I think it's just going to be clear as day for Florida Atlantic. Right now, they have the game at minus 7.5, and I think that's actually pretty easy. They haven't played each other this season, but just judging by a game that was real close, just a couple last week, Florida Atlantic played Southern Mississippi. They beat them by 20. And then I went back and looked at UAB versus Southern Mississippi. They lost by 35 to them. They were outscored 37-2. So yes, that's not a ton to go off of, but if you look at all the statistics, they're against the spreads and all that stuff. Florida Atlantic is the team to pick this week, minus 7.5. If you don't feel safe with that, buy that point. Buy that point, get it down to minus 6.5, so you're within a touchdown. You feel good. Also, it's with it being conference championship week, it's going to be much less odds for when you're picking them straight up. So go with Florida Atlantic. You're going to get it at minus 280. Add that into a parlay. You're going to feel really good about yourself when everything comes out, okay? Next game. Good fucking game of the week over here, honestly. The MAC championship game between Miami of Ohio and Central Michigan. I like Miami of Ohio just because, as you can see, Steelers homer, go Big Ben. He went from Miami, Ohio. Best quarterback in that class. Just saying. That is actually at 7 exact right now, minus 7 in favor of Central Michigan. I've looked at both of these schools as well. Central Michigan has looked like the far superior talent if we're looking at all the teams throughout. Like I said, I'm not going to bore you with the statistics or anything like that. Both teams have really just kind of mediocrely gone through the season. Miami of Ohio 7-5, Central Michigan's 8-4. The MAC is really kind of close together. There's really no team that just far exceeds everyone else or anything like that. They really kind of just beat up on each other, unless you're Akron and you fucking suck year after year after year. And I'm pretty sure they're like 0-60 in the last 5 years. They just suck dick. But not to bash on Akron or anything. I'm sure it's a great place. Go LeBron. But anyways, yeah. The pick here is Central Michigan. Like I said with the UAB Florida Atlantic pick. Take that minus point off. This one, you don't have to do as much as that. Take that half a point off if you want. You don't feel safe about it. Because right now, it's at minus 255 for CMU. I'm feeling confident about that. I'm feeling good about that. This one's at Ford Field, so it's actually in Michigan. So they will have that kind of home field advantage in a way. So yeah, go Central Michigan. Add it onto a parlay if you want. Go nuts. Go crazy. Third game, another one that's not really a fucking big deal. We have the Sun Belt Championship game, where we actually have a ranked team, though. We have straight up Louisiana, not to be confused with LSU, just straight up Louisiana University, not Louisiana State. They will be playing, actually, the dreaded Appalachian State, who's actually ranked 24 in the country right now. I know. Everyone knows Appalachian State. They defeated Michigan in the classic game back in the days, but that shouldn't be a shock to anyone nowadays because Michigan sucks fucking cock. As you saw by their fucking 29-point trounce to Ohio State. But anyways, definitely go with Appalachian State here. It's just 6 points. I saw Louisiana play last week. They struggled against Louisiana Monroe. Barely beat them in the end of the game. It was close for them. I know Louisiana Monroe isn't a great team, but they just didn't look like they had that firepower like Appalachian State did. Appalachian State blew out their opponent, all right? And they just look more ready. They look ready to play. It's only -6. You're getting less than a touchdown here by that half point, like I said, because fuck ties. But other than that, I wouldn't even tell you to buy any points or do anything like that. It's -245 for App State. Add that into the parlay. Book it. And finally, the last games are the ones that really no one's going to care about. A little better than the other three, though. It's the Mountain West Championship game, where we got Hawaii versus Boise State. These two squads actually played each other earlier in the year. Boise State won it 59-37. And to be honest, why the Rainbow Warriors? Do you really want to bet on a team called the Rainbow Warriors? No, you don't. Because what are you going to say? Hey, I just want to bet on the Rainbow Warriors. No, fuck you. You're a piece of shit if you do that. All right, go Boise State here. It's -13.5, but like I said, they beat them by 22 earlier in the year, and Hawaii is not that great of a team. Boise State is a good team fighting for that at-large spot to get into one of the premier bowl games, okay? That's what they're fighting for. That's all anyone can really care about in a conference like that. So, Boise State, -13.5. It's actually -540 right now. Add that into a parlay, though. Makes those odds go way up. Book it. Now, into the games we actually care about. Starting with the AAC championship game. Cincinnati, Memphis, the rematch. They just played a week ago. They won by 10. Here's the thing, though. It was in Memphis, just like it is this time. They were fighting for, I guess, the spot who was going to be in charge of it, who was going to host it. Here's the truth, though. Cincinnati didn't really give a shit last week. You know, they had already booked their spot in the AAC championship game. They were maybe looking for a better at-large bid, but it really didn't matter to them. The game that mattered was this week. I think they went soft on Memphis and made it a much easier game on them. They only won by 10 still. Here's the thing, though. Back in Memphis, I know it was -11 last week for Memphis. This week, it's -9. The odds say that they see it a little more like that, but they think they're going to try just a little bit harder, and I agree with them on this one. I say you pick Cincinnati here +9. They're going to be trying much harder. They know this is finally the one that actually matters. Last week was kind of just a trial period. They're going to see how Memphis played, see how they can beat them, and they have seen it. I still think Memphis wins this game, but at +9, pick Cincinnati. If you don't feel safe about that, buy that 1.5 if you want. I'm not telling you what to do, but if you don't feel safe, do it. But I'm picking Cincinnati straight up +9. That's the way to go. Memphis is at -325 right now. Book it. Memphis is the better team. They're still at home, and they are the best team in this conference. Book it. All right, going on now to the Pac-12 championship game on Friday, the day before all the rest of them. We have Utah versus Oregon. I struggled on this one a lot because I've been an Oregon lackey for a better part of the year or so. I've been a fan of them. I love Justin Herbert. But here's the thing. I told you about that parlay I had a couple weeks ago. So, fuck Oregon. Fuck Oregon. I don't give a shit, okay? I hate Oregon. But I gotta be impartial. So, I'm going to go against the spread Oregon. It's +6. I'm going to go with Oregon here. I think they're going to keep this a game because although they can't go to the college football playoff like Utah can, they want to keep this a game. They want to show that they are meant to be here and that they should be a part of that squad, a part of those teams that should be talked about. They won't win. Utah's defense is fucking incredible, and they're going to win this game in the end. But I think they'll be able to get it close enough to +6. If you don't feel safe, buy that 1.5. Buy a 0.5 point. Do whatever the fuck you want. But I'm telling you to pick Oregon. It's the way to go. Utah's at -240. Pick them straight up. Oregon against the spread. Off to the Big 12 championship game. We have Baylor versus Oklahoma. As you all know, my upset of the week did not go well last week. I picked Oklahoma State to win. They got their shit kicked in. They fucking sucked, and they lost by 19. They didn't even cover the spread. So I'm sorry about that. And if you want to say go fuck yourself, Aaron, I completely understand because I want to go fuck myself after that one. But second time's the charm. It's what I always hear. Baylor, that's the team you want this week. That's also my upset of the week. Baylor's going to defeat Oklahoma and finally knock them off their fucking goddamn high horse, okay? This one's going to be playing at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, or wherever the fuck that stadium is. I don't really care. Hate the Cowboys, hate all of Dallas. But it doesn't matter. Baylor, closest Here, they're going to have the home crowd. They're on fire right now. You saw what they did to Kansas last week, won 62-6. Beat them down, all right? They're ready to play. They saw what happened to them last time. They lost 31-28 after being up 28-3 on Oklahoma. They are fucking pissed about that. They should not allow that to happen, okay? Oklahoma is trying obviously hard to make an impression on the committee that they deserve to be there, but they don't. There are better teams out there and better choices out there, okay? Not only should you go with Baylor at +8 over that touchdown, you should also pick them straight up to win at a +255. Add that into a parlay, and you're going to get a shit ton of money. Pick Baylor. They are the right team. They are ready to go. They're going to fucking knock Oklahoma off their high horse. I guarantee it. All right, now off to the SEC championship game. We have LSU versus Georgia at 7.5. Now, if this was under a touchdown, I'm easily going to be picking not Pittsburgh. What the fuck? See where the fuck my mind is. Thanks, Evan. Anyways, LSU. Easily I would have picked LSU here if it was within a touchdown, but it's not. 7.5. It started out 6.5. It's now gone to 7.5. I'm picking Georgia here to cover. This is going to be a tough game. Like I said, Georgia has an incredible defense, and they actually showed that they had an offense last week, unlike what I've been saying. LSU's offense is incredible. They beat Texas A&M 50-6, I think it was last week. It was insane amount. It was an insane amount of points that they were able to put on them. But Georgia's a tough team that's fighting for a college football playoff spot. They know that if they win, they're in. They are going to be fighting their hearts out. But in the end, LSU is just the best team in this country, I believe. I really do believe that. So I'm going to say Georgia's going to get to within that touchdown. But at the end of the day, LSU's power is going to come in. They're going to get the win. But like I said, Georgia plus 7.5, but pick LSU straight up. That is going to be a -310. Like I've been saying for every single game so far, add that into a parlay. All these will come together and eventually equal a good amount of winning. Book it. Number 9, the ACC Championship game. Here we go, boys. Clemson, Virginia. That was my pick last week. I told you it was a big upset pick. Virginia defeated Virginia Tech. Fucking hell of a ball game, you know? I watched it. They finally came together. They finally worked together as that team that I knew they could be. Fuck Virginia Tech. It was Virginia that won 39-30. Hell of a ball game. Here's the thing, though. Virginia Tech's not Clemson. So, Clemson's going to run away with this. They are. Everyone knows it. The spread is 29 right now. And I think they're going to beat them down. Like they've beaten everyone else down in the ACC. It just shows the talent difference between the ACC and other conferences. Here's the thing, though. 29. They're giving them a lot of points. I think Virginia's better than that. I think they'll be able to hold them within 29. If you want to feel even safer, buy 2 points, get it up to 31, 2.5, do whatever you want. But I really do. Or even put them in the teaser, get it up to 35 points, and then you'll feel really good about yourself. But Virginia's not a bad team. Not at all. They're a good team, and it's the first time they've been in the ACC championship game. I think every single team in that part of the division or conference has gone 7 years in a row now. Every single team has gone now. It's their turn. They're going to make it not a difference. They're not going to win or anything. Clemson's still going to show off that they're the best team, but they're going to win, but not by more than 29. Virginia's going to cover this. Clearly, Clemson's going to win this. I don't even have to tell you that straight up. That's -7,000. That's the only game here that really is not going to win you anything if you put them on. But do Virginia against the spread. I believe they will cover. I believe they're a good team for the ACC. Book it. And finally, the last one here, Big Ten championship game. Ohio State versus Wisconsin. We all know how this ended last time. Ohio State won by 31 against Wisconsin. It was not a game. It's right now at 16.5 points. Ohio State is, I think, going to slaughter Wisconsin yet again. They want to show to the committee that they deserve to be the number one team because, face it, whoever wins gets that number one spot, and they get to play the fourth team, who's going to be the weakest of the bunch. Nobody wants to be that 2 spot where they have to play Clemson right out of the gates, the defending champs. They don't want to do that. They're going to try their hearts out to beat down on Wisconsin so they can prove to the committee that they deserve to be number one, so they can skip that game the first time around. It's at 16.5 points. Pick Ohio State to cover that 16.5. They beat them by 31 last time, and I have a feeling they're going to beat them by at least in the 20s this time around. Okay, that's -700 for Ohio State, so it is the second lowest. But they should cover, I believe. And I think they're going to get this one. And I think it's just priming us up ready for an LSU-Ohio State debate. Who's going to be number one? Who's going to be number two? Okay? But that is my picks for the week of college football, guys. That is 10 games. Hopefully, I can go at least 6-4. My goal is 7-3 this week. Get over that 70%. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys? We'll come back to you next week about it. All right? See you then.